Leftovers, or the DMV,
Number 97.
or house cleaning, or Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Leftovers, or the DMV,
Number 97.
or house cleaning, or
Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to the July 18th edition of Beer in Front. I'm your host, Dave Zalatoris, and Beer in Front is a proud member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Maybe I should call this show Mead in Front, because on this episode I talked to Peter Schultz. He's one of the owners over at Second City Meadery. They're located on Elston Avenue in Chicago. Going into this, I did not know a lot about mead. I've had it before, and if you look on Untapped, like some of the highest rated check-ins that they have are for mead. So I know there's a good following. People really love it, but I didn't know a lot about it. So I would drive by and see this really cool logo on my way to work. And I'm like, what's that? And then I saw the sign, it's a meadery. So I reached out to them, and Peter happily invited me over and we discussed mead. So stay tuned for that. I also later on in the show had one that I picked up there and sampled that. So if you're looking for something a little different, I would suggest mead, because I thought that was excellent. Over on YouTube, I've put out a new series called Chicago Eating. I don't know how often I'm going to update it, but I'm going to have periodically some great spots in Chicago. I'll talk about the food that they have there. So I put one out last week from the hot dog stand, Badaki's in Chicago, and had their fabulous Korean steak bowl. So if you follow me from the city, head over and subscribe over on YouTube, and you could catch, it's all going to be under the Beer in Front banner. I'm not making multiple channels, but it'll all be under the Beer in Front page there. But I'll have a Chicago eating segment that's going to come out from time to time over there. I want to thank everyone that supports the show over on Patreon. If you're interested in helping out, you could go to patreon.com/beerinfront for more details. I also want to thank everyone that listens to this show every week or watches the videos over on various social media accounts. It means a lot, so I thank you as well. I also mentioned on the show maybe a month or so ago that I was kicking around the idea of doing like a spin-off podcast from time to time. And I had one all set to go on the Oakland A's and their impending move. And I had a good portion of it written and ready to go. But now there's like a last minute effort from the mayor to try to save the team. So I don't know if the show's going to be coming out anytime soon. I mean, hopefully it doesn't, because I want the A's to stay in Oakland. But I think it's funny. I put out cover art and everything. I, solicited feedback, like, which of these do you like better? I wrote a good portion of this. I was getting ready to record, and then the mayor just throws a wrench into the whole plan. So hopefully I don't need to record this episode and I'll come up with another topic. All right, welcome back. Mead is a beverage that has been around for thousands of years. That's right, thousands. It's an alcoholic beverage made by fermenting honey. You'll find many meads topping the list of the highest rated check-ins on Untappd. Second City Meadery is located at 4465 North Elston Avenue in the Mayfair neighborhood of Chicago and is the place to go to for mead in Chicago. Today I'm talking to Peter Schultz from Second City. Peter, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
I first found you driving down Elston and seeing that phenomenal logo.
Yes, the sign pays for itself.
Yeah, that has to be probably maybe up with Maplewood as the top logos in beer and beverage in Chicago. What a great logo. Did you come up with that?
So I came up with the Chicago flag with bees instead of stars, and then my previous graphic designer came up with the drip logo, as we call it.
Okay.
She was a friend of mine from college, super, super talented, so much so she got a promotion at her day job and doesn't help with us anymore, but she helped us get off the ground, and we're really appreciative.
Yeah, I saw when I walked in, I saw a hat out front. I'll have to be buying that on my way out because the logo's killer. You'll see that on an upcoming video, or drive down Elston Avenue and stop in yourself. Can you tell us about Second City Meadery?
Sure. So I got into mead. My wife and I were dating in undergrad at UIC here in Chicago. We'd go up to Haymarket for date night. She found out pretty quickly she wasn't into beer, but she loved their food, and they offer, wine, cocktails, and eventually she tries a mead. Big red lights are going off in her head, like, this is it, this is the thing for me. So back in 2013, 2014, there's not a lot of mead around. Like Wild Blossom had been in Chicago, and like Schramm's had just opened towards the end of 2013. So we start driving around the Midwest, spending way too much money on mead for 23 and 24-year-olds. So then I start making it at home in order to, save money and thinking it will be easy. Both of those things are not true. But I found out I really enjoyed fermentation, and how awful the batches were really motivated me to get better at it.
Yeah.
Back in the 2013, 2014, there wasn't this huge online database of information. So I basically had Ken Schramm's book, The Complete Mead Maker, and I had trial and error. And so about 18 months into brewing, I finally make a decent one. And that's when things really got exciting. So the first good batch was in 2015. In 2016, we start entering competitions, getting really good feedback, a couple medals, but mostly for the feedback. 2017, we start actually thinking, could this be a business? 2018, we incorporate the business. 2019, we sign on our location. 2020, we start brewing. Something else happens in 2020 that complicated things. And then Black Friday of 2021, we finally open our doors.
Okay, cool. Like you mentioned you started it from home. How much different is it than brewing a beer? Is it like a home brewer?
Very, very different. Okay. So we don't boil any water.
All right.
Brewing takes a week for mead, where for beer it's more like one day. But there's no day that's as intense as a beer brewing day.
All right.
So you do your yeast starter, give that 24 hours. Brew day, or what I just call pitch day.
Yeah.
You just mix your fruit, honey, water, if you're going to use water for that recipe, and pitch your yeast. And then you basically just have to punch down fruit caps for the next 6 days. So it's a little more long than making a beer, but it's not quite as intense.
Okay. Do you use normal brewer's yeast like Omega, or are there special mead yeast you would use?
So when we started, we used 71B, which is a white wine yeast. Okay. Now we use DV10, which is kind of a hybrid mead, wine, champagne yeast.
Okay.
So I like that one because it's really good at low pH. We don't really get stalled batches,
all right, cool.
Which is really important.
Yeah. Since it's made with honey, is this something for people with gluten allergies? Can they enjoy mead without any problem? Okay,
absolutely.
That's cool.
All of our recipes are gluten-free with the only exception of barrel-aged meads.
Okay, cool. So yeah, anyone can enjoy it. Well, we're both looking at some mead here, so why don't we try this? And can you tell us about the mead we're trying?
So this is Summer in the City. It's pineapple, peach, and coconut. And so all of those are added post-fermentation. Pineapple really messes with your pH, so I don't want to get that in while the yeasts are doing its thing.
Yeah.
And peach is a delicate flavor that can get blown off if you throw it into primary. So cheers, my friend.
Yeah, you really get, for me, I get the peach right up front in the aroma.
Peach on the nose, juicy pineapple, smooth coconut on the end.
Yeah, this is the first one I had About a month ago, I went to Friday Night Lights, and they have them around the city in the summer, and the first one was outside Wrigley Field, and I saw you there, so I'm like, okay, I'm looking at, the different offerings. I'm like, let me try this one, and I was hooked. This one's excellent.
I'm really happy you like it.
You have a lot of stuff on tap and some in bottles. What are some of the other different varieties or styles of mead that you have?
Sure. We really specialize in dark berry, sweet, fruit-forward mead. Black currants are big for us. Within the past 12 months, really got enamored with a fruit called honeyberries, which comes from honeysuckle plants. They're just so rich and dark and complex, and they're really tart, so they pair really well with honey. On top of that, your basic vanillas, cinnamon, maple, like all those are really fun to work with as well.
Yeah.
We've started incorporating more barrels, started doing gin barrels, which I have found an affinity for.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, check us out at Fobab.
Yeah, there's, as we're talking, there's a ton of barrels behind me. I was like jealous walking in, like, oh yeah, those are good. Do you have a base recipe that you use for mead and then add all of the flavors, the fruits, or does it vary between the honey you use and the fruits?
Sure. So really, we only have a base for our sessions.
Okay.
Our sessions are all fruited post-ferment. Some of our higher strength ones are done post-ferment. A lot of them are done pre-ferment. It's interesting how a raspberry ferment mead compared to a honey ferment and then raspberry after will taste so different.
All right.
And it's easier to convince a wine drinker to drink a raspberry fermented mead because it's going to come off more like wine that they're used to, but it'll still be unique enough that if you don't like wine, it won't come off as off-putting.
Okay.
So we do almost all of our dark berry fruit. Actually, now that I think about it, every berry is primary fermented, and it's only some tropical fruits that we do post-ferment.
Right. You mentioned before you have sessions and also barrel age, so it seems like you have something for every palate that's out there.
Absolutely.
How long do you age the barrel aged ones?
I have found cutting corners on barrel aging it never helps. So the shortest barrel age we've ever released is 10 and a half months.
All right.
Just this past year, we released a 13-month mead that I thought was fantastic. Within the next month, we'll be releasing our first ever double barrel mead, which I'm very excited about. So that's been in various barrels for 18 months. So that'll be a lot of fun. We started a Solera project this year that I plan on going for 5 years or longer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that'll be a lot of fun. We're really just scratching the surface as far as our own data points for barrel aging. But generally, patience pays.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely, like you mentioned, there's no way you could cut corners on aging something. It's just impossible to do.
Absolutely.
Let's have another sip here. The honey that you use and the fruits, are any of that locally sourced or from the Midwest?
Absolutely. So we get 65% of our honey from Michigan, an apple farm called Schuyler's.
Okay.
We get 30% of our honey from Hawaii, Wa'okele honey in Hawaii. And then the other 5% is kind of from all over the world. Okay. There's a guy named Brian Warner who's started the World Honey Collective. So he'll go to third world countries and set up apiaries and have local people work the apiaries, and then he buys honey from them. And then we can start using some of that honey. So we've gotten honey from Chile, from Ethiopia, from Oaxaca, Mexico. So it's been really fun to taste honey from around the world.
Any from the guys that park outside of the Chicago Park District parks?
Not yet. Chicago honey is very expensive.
Yeah.
And yes.
How much honey, pounds wise, goes into a typical batch of mead?
Sure. For sessions, it's about 1.5 pounds per gallon. And then for the other stuff, it can be up to 5 or 6 if we want either really high ABV, really sweet, or both. So it depends on what the final product, but I mean, there's kind of no wrong answer. I guess 6 would be the max. We've never gone over 6.
Okay. Has there been, lately since the pandemic, there's been supply chain issues. Has that affected you at all?
Absolutely. Labels are more expensive. Corks are more expensive. It's been a lot of packaging material. Glass bottles have been a huge issue for us to source.
Yeah.
So as you can see, I have almost 2 full pallets back there. Because when we do find a decent deal, we have to stock up because we never know when that deal's going to come around again.
And everything is in bottles. There's nothing that's canned.
Not at this moment. Yeah. I want to start fine-tuning our sessions. And then once I have some recipes I'm really, really happy with, we'll go down the canning route.
Because most of the meads are the ones that I looked at on your website. They're a lot higher in ABV than a beer. So you're not going to put a 14%. Well, you could, but you're not going to put a 14%er in cans.
Right. It would be an interesting signal to customers because at the moment for mead, what sells it is clear glass, showing you the color of what you're drinking.
Okay. And there's no well, you don't use hops, so you don't have any issues with skunking or anything like that in the clear glass.
Correct.
Okay. What was the first mead that you had that was like, oh wow, this is for me, this is what I wanted? Do you remember the first brand or style that really like, this is it?
Sure. So the first mead I ever had was Zombie Killer from Bee Nectar, and I thought it was very good, but it wasn't quite enough for me to be like, this is my future.
Yeah.
The Statement from Schramm's was the one where I was like, holy cow, I didn't know something could taste like this. I need to try more of these. Yeah. So that the Statement was probably my like light bulb mead.
We're in your back office here recording this, and I see a lot of local beers. Are you a beer person as well?
Absolutely. Okay. I've been into craft beer since 2011.
Okay.
So yes.
Do you have any thoughts or plans on maybe doing a beer down the road, or like even something like, you talked about Haymarket before, they have that Harold's 83 honey ale, like maybe a beer with honey?
I'm more than happy to collaborate with other breweries around the city. We currently are working with Tyler from Dunyer Fermenta to do some co-ferments, because that's kind of already what he does. Yeah. So it was kind of a natural fit to do some collabs with him. As far as making my own beer, Chicago has 200 breweries. They're all amazing. I don't need to put my hat in that ring.
Yeah, even in the area you're in now, you could go down to Old Irving, which you could walk to, and other spots.
Old Irving GABF winner, Alarmist GABF winner. I don't need to compete with them.
Even a little further down, Eris has won some GABFs too. Yeah,
absolutely.
So this area, we're blessed to be an alcohol drinker.
Yes, we're very spoiled here in Chicago.
Yeah, it's a great area. There's beer geeks out there. What's the difference between a mead enthusiast and a beer geek nerd enthusiast?
There's a lot fewer of them. Yeah. At least at the moment. And a lot of the mead enthusiasts right now are homebrewers. Okay. So that's some of my favorite customers to have, because we'll just start talking about yeast and about fruit sourcing, and those are fun conversations for me. Yeah. Mead homebrewers really are pushing the envelope. And somebody bring in a super savory mead. He listed off like a dozen spices that were in it, things I would have never thought to use. And so it's always fun to try stuff that I would have never thought to do. And maybe that specifically wouldn't be commercially viable, but there's always bits you can take. Yeah.
You mentioned, before we started recording, you had a D&D event here the other night. Do you have other types of mead people can come in and do bottle shares, or what do you have else here?
So as far as bottle shares go, we kind of do, kind of don't. If someone brings in something to share, I'll open something or pull something from a tank to share back with them, but I don't advertise bottle shares per se. We do have a bottle club membership, and we have 2 parties a year, one in April and one in November, and I allow people to bring bottles to that if they want to share. As far as D&D goes, we do play every Thursday, and we're always looking for new people.
There you go, Thursday nights. Head over to 4465 North Elston. What about the membership? What do you have, a yearly sign up for the membership?
Yep, so it runs calendar year. So normally around October, November, we start taking names in our tap room. Okay. Right now we have just short of 100 bottle club members. So how many new people we add depends on how many people renew in any given year. Yeah. One thing I do want to start doing, that bottle club membership is very manual, where I email everyone, they email me back with their order, and then we get all of that situated. I also want to start a side bottle club that's more like if you went to Napa and signed up at a winery where they just ship you something quarterly, and it's a lot less labor intensive for the consumer, really, because it's a couple emails a month that they need to be responding to and staying on top of pickups. And I do want to kind of streamline that for some people that like mead but aren't your top. They
don't want to. They might not be doing a few bottles a month.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, all of the bottles, I'm looking at the bottle here. That is what,
375s.
Do all of the bottles come out in 375s?
Yes. So right now we do all 375s. We do some Magnums just for fun. I've done like 6 of those ever.
Okay.
But no, 375, thanks to Schramm's, has kind of become the industry standard. Mm-hmm. And I'm here for it. I like how it looks. It's not that much. Like if it was a 750, that's kind of a lot. Like you couldn't split that between 2 people. Mm-hmm. You could, but...
Once you open a bottle of mead, is there a time frame where you have to finish it? Do you have to finish it within a day or so?
So if you're just throwing the cork back in it, I'd recommend fridge and don't keep it more than a week.
Okay.
If you have these beautiful vacuum sealers, you can go up to 3 months.
Oh, okay.
I'd still recommend refrigerating it, but sucking all the oxygen out really, really helps with longevity of an open bottle.
Since the alcohol percentage is a lot higher, when someone comes to the Hive here, what's like the normal serving size?
So we do 2-ounce pours and 5-ounce pours.
Okay.
We do flights, which are 4 2-ounce pours.
All right.
So that's, 90% of customers get flights.
Okay. Do you have anything new coming down the road that you're excited about? Any new meads?
Oh, man.
Yeah,
all right. Like a lot.
Good thing I got enough on this battery and chip here. All right, let's hear it.
I really want to start hitting more banana meads.
Okay.
I really like banana meads. We have a strawberry banana cocoa nib, like a banana split mead that we did with a collab with Hex Meadery. They're out of Wisconsin. Then we have a banana cinnamon maple vanilla, almost like banana pancake mead that I'm super, super excited about coming out here soon. Beyond that, passion fruit has been a really fun ingredient. So we've got a blackcurrant raspberry passion fruit.
Okay.
And in addition, half of that batch is currently in a gin barrel, and that will be entered into FOBAB this year.
Oh, yeah.
So that will be fun.
I love gin barrel stuff. Yeah. It's so good. I know, I think Beguile had some stuff out before, and another couple local craft places did some gin aged stuff that I just thought was phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to trying that.
But filling more barrels, more passion fruit, more banana. Szechuan peppercorn is like a personal love of mine, just that numbing sensation. So we're going to incorporate that into some more recipes. While at the same time, we'll keep doing our black currants, our raspberries. We're not going to get away from the things our consumers like just because we want to do these really edgy things.
Do you have one that's like you would consider your flagship that's the go-to for a lot of people?
So it's called Existence is Pain. Okay. It's black currant and vanilla. We released it for the first time in 2020, and the name just kind of made sense. Yeah. And then we do, in April this year, we did our first ever Existence Day. So we had a bunch of variants of it, which was a lot of fun. But I'd say that's probably our flagship.
Okay. Now, the Hive here, you don't serve food. Can people bring in their own food?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. BYOF. And we have tons of recommendations if people aren't sure what to get in the area.
Do you ever have, like, food trucks that come by? Because you're only open Thursday through Sunday, correct?
Just Thursday to Saturday.
Oh, Thursday through Saturday. Okay.
Yeah. No, we haven't worked with food trucks yet. Not to say that I never would. It just hasn't come up at this point.
Plus, blocking the street and stuff might be an issue on a busy
Elston is
Avenue.
A busy street.
Yeah. Peter, I thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun learning about Mead. I really appreciate it. Anything else you want to tell people about Second City? You know, can they find you on the internet? Where can they find you online? Any socials?
Yep. So we've got Instagram and Facebook. We can ship to 42 different states through Vino Shipper, which is, you can find that through our website. So if you're not in the Chicagoland area, you can get some of our product that way. We're at as many festivals as I can feasibly be at. So keep a lookout for us. The summer is festival season.
Do you distribute anywhere else? Can like people go to a Binny's or a Promiscuous and pick you up there?
So in the city, we don't too much because a lot of people just come to the tap room. Okay. We're in a handful of stores in the suburbs.
All right.
Orange and Brew, Flight, Beer and Now, Beer Cellar, Beer on the Wall, Arlington Heights. We're in a handful of stores out in the burbs.
Excellent. We'll definitely check them out. If it's anything like the one that I'm having right now, you're going to like it. So please head over to Second City Meadery. They're at 4465 North Elston Avenue in the city. The closest major busy street is Montrose. So figure if you could get to Montrose and Elston, you can get here. Peter, thank you again, sir.
Thank you.
Leftovers or the DMV
Number 97.
or house cleaning or Chumba Casino always brings the fun. Play over 100 different games online for free from anywhere. You could redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. Live the Chumba life. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Everybody knows at the root of any good relationship, any relationship worth anything, is the only thing that matters between two people. And I'm talking about television. That's right. That's why you should listen to Married with Television, man, which is a podcast by my friends Shannon and Jamie, I call her cat ears, about movies and TV that they have loved for decades, man. You listen at marriedwithtv.com or anywhere you get your podcast. They are proud members of the Odd Pods Media Network, man. Married with Television.
All right, I'm going to have another mead right now from Second City Meadery. This one is called Dale. This is a traditional mead that's semi-sweet, and it's a cork. So I can't give you the fancy can open sound, but I'm going to try to open this cork here. Smells very nice. I really like the aroma here. Smells just sweet, but it smells really, really good. Now, that's delicious. Like, this has nothing else in it. Like, you're not getting some of the fruits that, we talked about earlier. I just wanted to try something that was more on the traditional side. But this is, I think, really good. I enjoy this one. You could pick it up at Second City Meadery. It's excellent. The couple that I had, now the one that I had when we were talking earlier, if you follow me on YouTube, I did a review of another one that I had there in this. So this is 3 different meads that I've had from them. They're all really good. If you're looking for something different outside of beer, you want to change it up a bit, I would suggest mead, and please head over to Second City Meadery. All right, that's going to wrap things up for this week's edition of Beer in Front. I thank you very much for listening. The person that won the Beer in Front t-shirt, you'll be getting it out this week. The person emailed me and said they'd rather stay anonymous. I'm going to respect their wishes, but that t-shirt will be on its way to you this week. I have a couple left. I have one that's in gray, which is an extra large, and a black medium. So if you're interested, you need to get a hold of me, Dave at beerinfront.com. I'll get one out to you. Figure $20, we'll call it even. That'll cover the cost of the shirt and the shipping. But yeah, if you're an extra large or a medium and you'd like a Beer in Front t-shirt, by all means, email me or get a hold of me on socials and I will get one out to you. Next week's going to be a good show. I have Pops on Hops, Barry and Abigail. They're going to come on. We're going to talk about their podcast. We're going to have some great beers from Chicago, beers from Florida that Barry sent out to me, and then I'm going to be on their show that's going to come out a little bit after that, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite bands, the Smithereens. So stay tuned for that next week. You're saying to yourself, Dave, where's the beer news? You forgot a segment. No, there really wasn't much to report after the whole Anchor Brewing news that came out last week. So there was really nothing to talk about on the news front. But I want to thank again Second City Meadery. That was really fun. You need to go check them out. If you want something that's different to change a pace besides beer, I would recommend Second City Meadery. All right, everyone, have a good week. I will see you next week. And remember, sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet. All right, we'll talk to you next week.